Well, we are 1 week away from the primary election. Next Tuesday, voters will head to the polls to vote in statewide and local races. Key races include the Democratic and Republican primaries for governor, U.S. Senate, and U.S. House in the 2nd Congressional District. According to the Secretary of State's office, there have already been more than 65,000 requested ballots as of today. Nearly 35,000 of those have been returned and accepted, and 29,000 have not yet been returned. If you'd like to vote before Election Day, you can still do so by requesting an absentee ballot through the Secretary of State's office or vote early in person at your municipality's clerk's office. Just remember, the deadline to request an absentee ballot is Thursday, and they must be returned to municipal clerks by 8 p.m. on Election Day. Maine voters can also register to vote in person through Election Day.